and welcome to On the Fence. I'm Eric.
And I'm Vicky.
And today we're going to be taking a look at Bandai Spirits 2020, Rei Ayanami. Today we're going to be taking a look at Rei Ayanami. Well, I moved her to forward. All right, so, which is very opposite to her personality, because she is not a very forward person. I guess, usually. She's kind of robotic in her personality. Anywho, she's from the anime Neon Genesis Evangelion. There's all sorts of things I could say about this character, but I'm not going to say anything, because Eva has so many big punches in it. So many big punches that if I even just start talking about this character, I'm going to ruin the whole series for everybody. So I'm not going to say anything other than...
Yay!
She's one of the main characters. Like, the main character is Shinji, and she's like another protagonist to the series. She gets pretty close to him, along with Asuka, and she's also one of the three main kids that pilot the giant Eva suits. I'm not going to say for Mary doesn't count.
And is this like the typical triangle love thing with those three characters? Don't say anything.
Yeah, I know. It's weird, and I don't want to talk about it because, like,
okay.
Anyway, let's just say that she's a really great character. She's beloved by so many people. I personally am an Asuka fan because I like hard, headstrong, determined women. And this one is none of that. This is like the soft, easygoing, you tell her to do something and she'll do it type. However, when I say tell her to do something and she'll do it, I mean she'll do it. If you're like, you gotta kill that monster, she'll kill that monster or die trying kind of thing. So she's pretty hardcore.
Okay. And who created the character?
Well, Eva was created by Hideki Anno, and so he basically created all the characters in Eva, and I think I kind of mentioned this with Asuka, but this guy was really good with his psychology and his characters, so, I mean, this is part of why so many people love Evangelion, but also why so many people can hate it, because it's so heavy, it's so emotionally heavy, and you get really invested in the characters early on because it's very real.
Yeah, I think that's what happened to me. I started the show and I needed something light, so I didn't continue watching it, even though it was pretty good.
Yeah.
But I'm more of a comedy type, so...
And there's some in there. It's just not enough.
Not enough of me.
Yeah. So this is a prize figure like the Asuka one. It's the same set as the other Asuka one that we had looked at. If you haven't seen that one, I'll put a link in the description. So anyway, yeah, in the description below. So you can always check that out. Otherwise, for her, she basically is close to all like the same kind of dimensions. We'll get in that a little bit later, but yeah, prize figure. What does that mean? That means that you go to Japan and in a giant claw machine, you can spend money to try and win her. It's very difficult to play some of these machines. I'm sure some of them are super rigged because I've been playing them forever because there's like an internet version you can play, and I never win any of them. So it's just like... Some people are really great at it. Not me.
It's like gambling, I guess.
It's kind of like gambling. So the plastic she's made out of is PVC and ABS, and we don't know who the sculptor is because she's a prize figure, and it's very rare that we know like who the sculptors are with prize figures.
Okay, go on with the specs.
Okay, so she was released at the same time as her counterpart. So it's January 11th, 2020. So she's a fairly recent figure. Her height is 235 millimeters. It is indicated that she's 210 millimeters. That is not true. She's significantly taller, and that doesn't even include the base, which has like a nice little height to it too. So she's 235. She weighs at 125 grams, so she's actually pretty light. She's really not that hefty at all. Her scale is not applicable because she doesn't have a scale. She's a prize figure. I don't know any prize figures that have scales. Like, there might be some, but the second they put in scale, it requires extra math, extra calculations, extra fees. So it's rare that they have that. Okay. Her MSRP is 618 yen. Again, that's the price that it is to try and pull this figure. So it sounds cheap, but it's really, the odds of you getting on your first shot are super low. So she's normally much more expensive. If you were to buy her in Canada, she's about $50 plus tax, and in America, I think she's like 40. So when it comes over here, you don't have to go through the hassle of trying to win it. They just charge you a fixed price. However, that fixed price can be kind of high. So is it worth getting a figure like this at that high of a price? Or should you save the monies and get something else? So let's talk about that today. We'll go over her and see if we can't get you off that fence. Yeah.
We're gonna start with her face. She has that kind of shy look, looking on the side, being all, I don't know. She has brown, reddish eyes, and a nice touch of putting her eyebrows the same color as her hair, which is a light blue. And yeah, no color on her lips, but she does have a little line that defines the mouth. You have something you want to say about the...
Yeah, so this figure is really 90s. Her art style is very 90s. The eyes are 90s. The cut of the face. Like, the mouth is really high up. The chin is kind of long, which all of this feels very 90s and looks like the artwork that they had originally drawn for her back in the day. It's very accurate. The, like, little bunny ear pieces that she has on her head look pretty good. I think that they're a little too forward, but I think it's because... I always thought they were more in the middle of her head, but it's been a while since I've seen this show, so it might actually be pretty accurate.
They're like hair clips, right?
Yeah, they kind of look like hair clips, and they're what allow her to connect to the giant mechas when they're piloting them, so she can have like a better connection with it.
Okay.
Other than that, her hair looks really nice. It looks a lot like the show. It's very accurate to that, and it's just kind of... it's kind of cheap, you know, like you can see some of the lines here and there for when they glued parts together. I mean, on one hand, it's pretty good that they put it in areas where the hair actually looks like it's folding, so it is a good way to hide it. If this was a higher quality figure, then it would be pretty good. But because it's a lower quality one, you can still see it pretty well. The paint job seems to be scratched off here and there.
You have, on the texture of the hair, normally it's really smooth. And here you kind of have little bumps and little like pieces of plastic, so it doesn't feel as smooth as usual on a better or higher quality statue. But overall, there's a lot of details still in the hair, and you can feel like every little spikes of it going down is kind of nice. You have layers still, even though if it's a cheaper one. It really surrounds her face and make it look like kind of a heart shape. And you see there's a bit of, they try to do some kind of shading or like different tint in the hair. You see it's a bit random. You have splash of like pale or blue in some places to give it a dimension. It's okay. It does a little trick. It's not like plain one color hair, so...
Yeah, those mold lines really bother me. But again, it's a prize figure. Like, it's so rare that the prize figures are going to be 10 on 10s, especially for something that's got a lower production number than, let's say, like a Dragon Ball prize figure. I mean, there's a lot of Dragon Ball prize figures, and some of them look amazing, but that's because there's so many. Mm-hmm. As far as Ava ones go, there's just not as many. Mm-hmm. So you are stuck with getting what you see here unless you want to spend 4 times the amount.
Yep. Okay, moving down, we get to the connection of her neck and the costume.
The costume is called a plug suit.
Fun fact. And right away we can see there's some issue with the paint job. She's supposed to have a red border on her costume, and it's kind of half red, half white. There's a little bit of paint, red paint on the part which is white, so here and there. But going down, we have nice metallic little lines on the shoulder that looks kind of cool. And I do have to say that I like the boats on the shoulder. They look really nice.
Yeah, those bolts are really cool. There's a lot of little things like that I like in between her breasts too. She has like that little bolt pluggy thingy. I think that looks really cool too in the middle. The zipper line looks really well done, and it's actually indented too, which is nice. The numbers are very clean, so the 00 you have on her front chest, as well as when you move over to the back, you have the 00 on her little backpack, which looks really great too.
Well, it's 10.
Oh, you're right. It's a 10, and by 10 we mean a singular zero. The shoulders are really nice. She looks very elegant, and the mold and the sculpt is very accurate, and it looks really good from a distance. This statue really looks like it could be like a higher end one. It's just when you see it up close that you start to notice all these QC issues. Yeah. QC is quality control, for those of you that don't know.
Yeah, we feel that there's different type of plastic that was used to make the statue. Like the backpack was, I think, maybe another color, and it was painted, or maybe it was black and it was painted white, or it was another color originally, because it's not the same white as the rest of the costume. You have little blotches of paint here and there, or not completely paint little pieces like on her leg.
The stripes.
Yeah, but overall, it's not that bad. I've seen worse. And we see a little bit of mold lines too on her side here, of her hip, or on the middle of the shoulder. You see quite a bit of a mold line, but like you said, from a distance, it looks pretty cool. You don't really notice that. The white is like a matte finish, and the black is somewhat of a shiny finish, so that's interesting too, that they put that detail in it.
Yeah, it's nice. Moving down to her arms, the details for the hands are pretty nice, actually. Again, there's like mold lines on there, but they're nice. They're nicely detailed. I can't help but wonder if under the shoulder there's like this piece here, if this isn't supposed to be filled in black or some other color.
They're like, the hands have an expression on their own. They're not just there, they have like, they're telling something. You can see that she's somewhat of a shy person, the way she holds herself, her arms behind her back, and her fingers, the way they're placed. There's an attention to details that's really interesting there.
And Evangelion, well, I guess the company Gainax in general that does Eva, they really love hands. Seriously, like a lot of their franchises, they put a lot of emphasis on hands in general. And so, yeah. So it's interesting to see that there's so much detail and emotion in these hands, like they're telling their own story, which is pretty nice. Like, it's very well done for a statue of this caliber.
You told me about those lines before. What are they called? Like the...
Oh, panel lines.
Panel lines.
They should have been filled in. Come on. I mean, okay, so there's a couple panel lines on her knees and going down like her calves. And this could have easily been filled in, and they didn't. It's like they just decided to stop adding paint to her the second it got to, like, her thighs.
But I guess they have to be really precise with those panel lines, right? So it's harder, I guess, to get a good job knowing that they can't be precise with this one because they have to go fast.
The trick is, especially with panel lines like this, because she's got a couple around her collarbone and stuff like that too, is that if you've got a marker that bleeds, you can just poke the area and it fills in the line in black in 1 second. And then afterwards you can just use a light mixed with water rubbing alcohol to remove the remaining ink. So that's what usually people do.
The line needs to be precise, and this one here, I feel like some places
it'll
kind of
bleed
fading away, and yeah, it would be hard to...
So yeah, it would bleed out for that, and also if it's a cheap kind of plastic that had experience with any kind of stress, then it will fill into all of that stress, those stress marks, and you'll start seeing cracks throughout your figure that you didn't even know were there. And it actually makes that area very brittle, so it can crack and break in the future. How do I know this? I build Gundams, and I also have Transformers, and some of those Transformers just didn't make it, unfortunately. Darn stress lines.
We can see on her butt cheek that the connection with the two pieces of the costume, you can see that it was two pieces that were glued together, like the legs and the body were two pieces that were assembled afterwards.
And it's pretty obvious too.
Yeah. But again, from afar, you don't notice that. And no. I like those little shoes where it's a black plastic that was glued to the white piece of the costume. It looks really nice, and the detail under the sole there.
Yay!
It's cool.
That's literally something they didn't put on my high-end Hyperdimension Neptunia statue. And this $50 statue, or $40, whatever, has it on it.
Yep.
So I think we're pretty much... Oh, the base. Okay. So let's talk about this base a little bit. It's...
A base.
A base. It holds her up. It's massive. It's way too big for the size of the character and the weight of the character, I should say. There's a little logo that says Evangelion 2020 or something like that on it, but it's very hard to tell that that's what it says, and it's not super pretty.
She's standing on the base with just one foot, and she has a little transparent pieces under her foot to give her the inclination on her foot.
Yeah, to make it look like she's kind of leaning forward, I guess.
Yeah, and not completely leaning on her feet. I don't know.
It's weird. It makes it seem like the actual pose isn't solid. I don't know why they didn't just make it so her foot was flat on the ground here, but you know what? Whatever. What do you think? Are you on the fence about getting the statue? Would you get it or would you not get it?
I think that if you like the character, you know who she is, and you're attached to her, I think it's a good buy because of the way they are showing the character itself. Like you say, they are showing her personality. And she looks accurate like in the show. I wouldn't get it personally because I didn't watch completely the show, so I'm not attached to the character. And personally, the design is interesting, but it's not something that would grab my heart and hold it forever. So there you go.
Would I get this? I don't know. I did, and I got the Asuka one, and I love the franchise so much. I'm such a big fan that I'm willing to get price figures of it, thinking, okay, well, at that price point, I could get 2 of them, and it comes up to not even the price of one higher-end one. The problem is that we own quite a few higher-end ones. So when you place this really nice Rei right next to a higher-end one, unfortunately, even with the distance, you start to notice those quality control issues, and it's just not as pretty. It doesn't pop as much. If you collect a lot of prize figures or you're on a budget, then this figure is amazing. I definitely give it 2 thumbs up. It's really nice. It's very accurate to the animation art style, and the Asuka one that goes with it is really spot on too, so it's really cool to have them both for such a low price.
You have a good representation of the character. It's,
Yep. And so that's pretty much it.
Yep.
So I hope that this video helped you think if you were on the fence or not about these figures. Let me know in the comment section if you got them, or her in particular, and what you think about it, because, maybe there's some things that we left out or we didn't point more towards, or maybe there's some things that you really like that we didn't really touch on.
Thank you for watching.
Thanks for watching.
Yeah, we would like to know what you think about the video. You can write down in the comment section below. If you can like and subscribe, we would really appreciate you, and help us make a bit more video, and hopefully with more details and more different statues. I don't know what I'm saying. Anyways.
And I'm just agreeing with everything.
So thank you very much. See you next time. Bye.
See you next time.